Sound practices and fundamental principles. So, what is the meaning of management? So, the word management is derived from the Italian word manigere, which means to train horses or literally to handle, from the French word maniger, meaning direct a household, to economize, and manager, an act of guiding or leading. So etymologically, therefore, it means to handle, direct economically, guide, and lead. In the light of the foregoing consideration ascribed to the word management, the following definition may be arrived at. So first, management is the art and science of organizing, preparing, and directing human efforts applied to the control the forces to utilize the material of nature of the benefit of man. Second is management is the development of people and not the direction of things. So third is management is the scientific utilization of men, money, and materials to accomplish a desired purpose. And lastly, management is the simply stated and defined as the getting of things done through the efforts of other people. So, what is the relationship between management and organization? Management and organization are generally interchanged or jointly and inseparably applied. So, when we say organization, for instance, it is considered as the relationship of the structured elements in business, including the individuals to carry on the work to accomplish the desired purpose. It also refers to the structure or form of an enterprise and the arrangement of all parts, therefore, in a manner suitable for use in service. So, when you say management, on the other hand, it is the planning, directing, controlling, and coordinating of those elements. And it also includes all those in charge of the direction of the work of others, those who will see to it that the parts so arranged are structured are used in service to best advantage. So there are the structures factors better remembered as the 5 M's are. First, men, materials, machine, method, and money. So these are utilized by management or coordinated, directed, and controlled in order to get work performed or accomplished. So, first, we will talk about who is management. So, the term who is talk about person. So, the term management has historically been used to refer to a single person or small number of influential individuals who are charged of setting overall policy for the business. So, it would be the proprietor in a solidarity proprietorship. It would be the director or top executives in a large corporation. So next is what is a good management? So a good management is seen as effective when qualified men are appointed to department heads. When these men are in charge of and responsible for all actions and when they collaborate under the direction of a power executive. So management is also beneficial. So the above mentioned effective changes were result of intelligent planning, capable performance, and fine teamwork, in other words, good management. So next is when is management considered successful? So with that, industry efficiency, which is quantified specifically in terms of the quality and good quantity of products produced with the fewest resources at the lowest feasible cost, is a key composed of management success. So, today we will talk about the functions of management. So, the function of the management are said to be the weaving together of the various parts so that all factors will function properly all person will cooperate for the common purpose. So specifically, management has the following function. So first is planning. So when we say planning, it is the methodic technique of looking ahead in order to meet work requirements and to reduce the amount of mental efforts required while the work is being done. So remembering the importance of time, the virtue of patience, and the joy of creation is the essence of planning. So second is coordinating. It implies the smooth working together of the different composing elements. So it aims toward a perfect meshing of or a harmonious adjustment among the elements employed. So in order to ensure harmony in action toward a common goal, coordination involves agreement in purpose and performance. So the third one is directing. So directing means the pointing of all efforts toward the known object. So guidance is provided and direction sets out the way to be followed. Then lastly is controlling. So in controlling, it includes the restraining, checking, and motivating influences exercised by management. Knowledge of what is being done, what should be done, and what do the address an acceptable condition is necessary for control. So the system are fundamental in operating a business. So in business, plan, method, of procedure are called system. When organizational procedures are standardized, we have a system. So when we say system, it is one of the most valuable mechanism or aid of management. Experience has shown that systematically execution is necessary for efficient in any field of performance. So when used appropriately, the system is significantly helped to ensure the intended outcome with the less amount of time and effort feasible. So there are advantages of proper use of system. So system when properly applied has the following advantages. So the first one advantages is system is the introduction of order and method wherever it is applied, giving the choice that would ensure if there was no method of organizing correspondence, records, and other data, and instead everything was just left lying around or what stacked one on top of the other as it's arrived, such as an advantage is obvious in any office. So the second one is everyday work become routine through a system. So routine work flows along regular channels and can be handled by less experienced works as the planning required for its performance has been done for them. Then rather, of course, there is a risk that routine will institutionalize and that positive change will only be implemented with great effort. However, the system has then benefit when applied properly. So the third one is system permits those in authority to develop their time and efforts to more important work, such as planning, attending to major problems, searching for new markets and products, and the like. So the fourth one is system aids in the control and reduction of cost. So the true cost of a system can be recognized and controlled because it is founded on a clear objective and detailed action plan which eliminates uncertainty and encourages certainty. So here are the rules of applying system. In considering the advantages gained by the use of system, one must be careful not to consider system as a total cure for all the industrial ills. So the end result was the creation and usage of convoluted system that is so burdened by red tape that is more than defines the purpose of introducing ills. So the following are a few simple rules that may be used for guidance always having in mind that system is a mechanism or an aid of management, a means toward an end but not the end in itself. So the first one is system use in a particular concern should reflect a basic general plan. So when we say that, if department heads are allowed to devise their own system, irrespective for the needs of other departments and of all of the concern as a whole. So such will inevitably result to duplication of efforts, waste, and internal friction. So the second one is a system must represent a definite and useful purpose. In other words, any system that has outgrown its usefulness should be discarded. There should be a conscious recognition that system can be changed if the need of improvement arises. So the third one is maintaining a system must prove worth its cost. So frequently, a system may help materially in producing the desired result, but at such cost that is become a cure worse than the ill. A system should be clear, simple, easily understood, adequate to fit the need, but involving the less expenditure of time and efforts. There should be frequent periodic checking. This periodic examination of a system will enable management to find out whether the system is still accomplishing the desired usefulness and whether the rules have been carried out as expected. So there are basic principles of management. This fundamental principle has been developed through years of practical experience. They can be applied in the conduct of any business, large or small, partnership or corporation, industrial or commercial, for they are based upon their understanding or truth that in their fundamental objective and operation, all businesses are alike. So the following principles formulated some years ago are considered fundamental to the successful conduct of any business enterprise. So the first one is the principle of policy making. Definite, clear-cut policies are essential to effective management. Company policies should be formulated at the inception of the business enterprise. So to carry out effectively the company policy, mental policy, the management of the manufacturing and sales division in turn develop the relevant policies for their individual departments. A departmental policy would be one that all salesmen would be required to abide by. So the next principle is the principle of improvement and adjustment. To be successful, a business must advance, it cannot remain dormant. So the management of a corporation is in charge of the ongoing growth of the enterprise. Management in every industry must constantly be looking for ways to enhance goal or service. So a business that launches a new profitable product has a clear advantage over its rivals. So company that enhance their processes, organization structure, and labor management interaction advance, whereas those that are satisfied with the current establishment regress. So the third one is the principle of balance. To secure proper development of business and efficiency in operation, a company must be eternally well balanced. So an illustration of this principle may be had in the case of successful manufacturing concerned with employs a new sales management. So the new sales management, a man of prodigious creative ability and imaginative talents, convinces general manager of the need of the tremendous expansion of the selling effort. So the fourth one is the principle of relationship of task and accomplishment. So a person works best and accomplishes most when he is given a definite job to be completed in a given time. The work being of a nature of which he is mentally and physically suited. So, selective employment, where management tries to discover the individual best suited for the job and who can be picked using job specification, taking into account the education and experiments of each applicant exemplifies the broad application of this approach. So the fifth one is the principle of individual effectiveness. So when we say individual effectiveness, it increases through training and improved working condition. Selection of employees is initially the important factor to consider. But no matter how well selected an employee is, his performance is still capable of improvement. So the application of this principle has led to training programs, classes in executive and supervisory development, and trainings on the job of workers. So the sixth one is the principle of simplicity. All elements who are not essential to successful operation should be eliminated and all those retained should be applied in the simplest way. By using the concept, red tape is frequently reduced. So a system effectiveness and procedures necessity are examined. No operation or activity should be started until it will significantly benefit the organization. Similar to how no executive post should be created unless it is absolutely necessary. So the ideal technique to do the task is to use the simplest system or the simplest method which will achieve the desired result. So the seventh one is the principle of specialization. So scientific distribution of works result in specialization of efforts and tasks. Specialization refers to the narrowing of the field of activity. Because skill and production rise with effort is concentrated. Specialization of efforts produce experts in a given field of endeavor. So this idea can be applied elsewhere. It might be used for everything from a straightforward activity to a more intricate one. So few individuals can do many things well, but most men can do a few things well if the scope of this activity is restricted enough, which is the foundation of the specialization concept. So the eighth principle is the principle of standardization. Whenever practicable best practices should be determined, expressed in terms of definite units or standard, and adapted as a pattern of use in operation or performance in planning and control. A standard is a norm, rule, model, size, type, quality, or measure which is set up or established such that future things or activities will be expected to conform to it. Standardization of product. This has to do with the selection of items, type, and size of products in greatest demand, and by concentrating the manufacturing, distribution, and other operation on those which are so selected. So the second one is administration standard. This is to do with standard of performance, which gave management definite measures by which to gauge efficiency, to evaluate and control current performance, and to estimate the plan of the future. So the ninth one is the principle of financial incentive. Remuneration should be in direct proportion to the value of accomplishment. A wage system, to be effective, should provide for standards of accomplishment, such that individuals are remunerated on the basis of the accomplishment in relation to the standard set of the task or class of work. So the reward must encourage the employee to give this all in order to be effective. So the computation process should be straightforward so that employees can figure out their own salaries. So the 10th one is the principle of human relation. So management succeeds or fails as human relation in business are intelligently or otherwise handled. So management and labor are after the same objective. Both desire the business to prosper, for their security depends upon the prosperity. But both want for treatment management in its dealings with labor in its dealing with management. Both desire the respect of these fellow men. Both want to be recognized for what they do and what they are. So the creation and intelligent operation of permanent specialist department or personnel, the industrial relation is a necessity in the handling of human relation. Then the 11th rather, the principle of planning. In order to satisfactorily accomplish anything of the importance, there must be planning in advance of doing. So planning replaces speculation with knowledge, the elements of chance in the manage. It forces problems and frequently stop from the happening, making decision on what has to be done. So how it should be done, where it should be done, and when it should be done are all parts of planning. So the sequencing and structuring of labor or tasks that can be completed more quickly and with less efforts by planning. Both the quantity and quality of the work has increased. So the sub 12 is the principle of control. So planning is of little value unless there is subsequent control to make certain that the plans are carried out. So those in authority must have the way to check the execution of the plans once they have been formed and directive given. In all cases, conclusions are drawn through examination of the completed work or may observe of the task in progress. So the 13th one is the principle of cooperation. The efforts of two or more individuals working as the unit towards a common goal are greater than the sum of the efforts of the individuals working as individual. So in this principle of cooperation is self-explanatory. Cooperation is nothing more than teamwork. The efforts of teamwork are evident to all. In a commercial setting, cooperation entails making full use of everyone's knowledge and experience. So the 14th one is the principle of leadership. Wise leadership is the most important single factor in successful operation. 15th one is the principle of delegation of authority and responsibility. So decisions should be made at the lowest participable organization level. Last one is the principle of utilization of executive ability. Executive active ability can be utilized fully by filling it for the need to attend to all routine matters. So, the role of leadership